Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sports Line. Another great day in Pittsburgh. The weather was a nice spring day except for those thunderstorm warnings. But we have a lot of great sports to talk about. Hope you're interested in some of the things we have to say. We got Big Mike back. He was out of town for a while, just come back in. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Chip, the Prophet Hayner. Smoking Jim Frazier. And Big Mike Butera. What we do is start out with what's on our mind. Big Mike, what's on your mind?
Actually, I've been given a great honor this evening of doing a promo, and I'd like to start off with that. Coming in July 21st through the 27th, not to a theater near you, but to Butler County, Seneca Valley School District in Moraine State Park in Butler County, is the North American Unicycling Convention and Competition. I know that I just asked prior to the show, when is it? Because I'm interested in seeing it. Believe me, folks, a unicycle, come on, how many times have you seen a unicycle? Probably as often as you've seen a mime. But nonetheless, if you have a chance to check it out, please do. Now,
thanks, Big Mike.
Well, I say, how did I do?
Pretty good.
What is on my mind tonight is different than what I prepared to do. And Chip, you get a kick out of I spend Sunday nights doing preparation. However, and I do, and I thought it was appropriate because it's about Jackie Robinson, and maybe we can visit
Number 42.
Exactly. Maybe we can visit it later on in the show. But what is truly on my mind is the event that took place. No events. I mean, it sucks. The nonsense that took place yesterday in Boston, and it deserves to be spoken of. And I'll tell you what, there's good people in this world, and good people like Rick and Loretti of Frankfort, Illinois, my dear friends, great people. My in-laws, Norma Jean and Bob, who just got a Cadillac last week, brand spanking new, and have no clue how to drive it, but that's a whole other story. But there are good people in this world that make bad decisions. I mean, maybe I'm one of them, but then, of course, there are the jerk-offs or a jerk-off who pulled the stunt yesterday. And what I think of someone such as that is you're probably an ugly person. You're not ugly physically. I mean, an ugly person inwardly, and you're probably an angry person. You're probably such a bad person. You live all your life in grief and pain. And I tell you what, I hope in fact you do live that type of life. But to the good people out there, I can most assuredly tell you that those guys, that person or persons, will be found. They will be dealt with accordingly. And we have already got back on with our lives and sports and sports shows, and take a back seat to this stuff. But we as we always do get on with our lives, and that's just, well, what can I say? That's I just wanted to get that in because I wanted to recognize it. So there you go, folks. Back to you guys.
Well, I'll send it back out that our thoughts and prayers go up to all the people that were affected by this, including our nation. I mean, it is a terrible thing, and we're getting used to it because it keeps happening. Not that we actually accept it, but so many of these tragedies do happen. And it just breaks your heart when an 8-year-old kid gets killed. An old-time guy's running down to the finish line, proud that he's doing it, and the shock waves knocked him over. Just shocking.
Just to quote a regular on our Monday night show, Sips, a little shout out to Zach Brenner, but he did make the comment that evil does exist in this world, and sometimes it rears its ugly head, and innocent people become victims. And I just only hope that the people that are responsible, that justice is swift and sure, and that they get what they rightfully deserve. But
that's absolute.
But we can't allow people like that to change the way we live our lives. Because by doing that, we're allowing the terrorists to win. And so, as Americans, as a nation, Boston as a city, and just as a race, we've got to carry on and live our lives and not live in fear.
I agree. All right, we'll try to have some little comedic relief, some great information, and we'll go right to Smoking Jim Frazier. What's on your mind?
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. If you want the green, you got to see Levine. But, hey, my Spotlight Player of the Week just got inspired by the man to my left, Big Mike. I didn't have any idea what I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to circle the globe, just like Wide World of Sports. We're going to West Africa. Never knew there was Mormons in West Africa, but I found a 6'6", 275-pound, outstanding football player for BYU in Ghana, and his name is Ezekiel Osall. And I tell you what, this guy is outstanding football player, defensive end, and I tell you what an athlete. At BYU, he ran track. He was a sprinter. He ran the 100-meter dash in 10.9. He ran the 200 meters in 21.8. He is a total freak of nature. This is a guy that's such a great athlete that he tried out for the BYU basketball team as a freshman and sophomore. He reminds me of former Pitt All-American and NFL Hall of Famer with over 150 sacks, Chris Dolman.
Wow.
So my spotlight player of the week is a black Mormon, Ezekiel Osall from Ghana.
Smoking Jim, you're on fire.
Thanks, Big Mike.
I got to interrupt Big Mike while he was interrupting you, but anyhow, we're at a boxing match, which was great in downtown Monroeville.
God's country.
Smoking Jim's backyard, believe it or not, and we did 16 fights, or I had to do them, and a couple interviews because of Smoking Jim give me a break. I broke into the ring now. But anyhow, Ghana's on my mind. I mean, not what's on our mind, but Smoking Jim goes, hey, we got to get this guy on. He's like a boxing trainer and everything else. He's from Ghana. So then there's a guy hovering around me because Smoking Jim goes, he's going to be on. So I ended up befriending the guy. Very nice guy. He's giving me boxing tips and everything else. And he's from Ghana.
Did you see his knuckles?
Yes, he showed me. I said, you must have been in a couple fights. He said, how'd you guess, man? Now,
You sure it wasn't ganja?
No. It wasn't Jamaica, man. Wasn't Jamaica, man. He didn't look like Bob Marley either, okay? He was a tough guy there, good guy there. And I can't pronounce his name, so we're going to go what's on our mind. Chip, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind? You know, and we do like to present the lighter side of sports, and you know, to speak to Big Mike's, reference to the tragic events in Boston yesterday, and also in the sporting world, there was another passing today of a Hall of Fame broadcaster, Pat Summerall, passed away at 82 years old. He was broadcast the NFL for a lot of years, and was a sidekick to John Madden,
and he was also a good kicker. So,
at one time, yes, he was. And so, I wanted to note his passing. But what's on my mind right now, what a weekend it was here in Pittsburgh. I mean, as a sports fan, there was so much going on. This weekend was absolutely fabulous. You know, you had the Penguins beating the Florida Panthers on Friday night. Evgeny Malkin, whether he sat out because he got sunburned or because he had an upper body injury, who knows? Who cares? The Penguins went on a road trip, won all 3 games down south. That was a great thing to see. The Pirates battled the Cincinnati Reds, swept 3 games against them. And last year Cincinnati was our Achilles heel. They really took the heart out of the Pirates last year when Chapman plunked Andrew McCutchen, and the Pirates didn't buy into their BS, and what they did was they just played solid baseball, and they answered the bell by doing the one thing that you can do, and that's sweeping them 3 games to none, which was, a great thing to see. There was also some silly golf tournament in Georgia. I don't remember. What's it called? The Masters or something?
Hey, my guy lost.
By the way,
my guy
Tiger
lost.
Woods didn't win. And I told you all before on this show, he's never going to win another major. Mark it down. I've said it
Hold
here.
it. I got to disagree. I was the opposite end. I said he would win the Masters.
But, we also had the Pittsburgh Riverhounds opened up a brand new stadium over on at Station Square.
Highmark Stadium.
Unfortunately, they lost to Harrisburg 2-1, but their fireworks interrupted my Pirates Saturday night while I was over there watching them beat the Reds, but that's okay. They put on a better fireworks show after the game was over.
Sure.
And then to top it all off, Robert Morris University hosted the Frozen Four, which is the equivalent of the basketball's Final Four for college hockey. 4 teams that have never been to the Frozen Four before made it. And Yale Bulldogs pulled the upset of, Yale has been playing hockey since, I believe, 1897. This is the first time they've ever won a national championship.
Wow.
And they beat the number 1 ranked Quinnipiac team. And the odd thing that Yale did is they were a number 4 seed, and they beat 3 number 1 seeds to win the championship. So let's give a little shout out. There's a young man from whose parents live in Mount Lebanon. His name was Jesse Root. He scored an empty net goal at the end of the game, so a local boy was on there. But I'm just really psyched about what's going to be happening here over the next few months in Pittsburgh. We got the Penguins in the Stanley Cup playoffs. We got the Pirates. They've came back to life, and it's just going to be a great summer for sports here. So that's what's on my mind.
Nice shout out to Pittsburgh. Really nice.
Thanks, Chip.
Good for you, man.
Well, it's not official as the referees whistle until Yale gets the trophy to go home. That's me holding the NCAA Frozen Four, the official trophy. I'll give it back to Yale. I'm mad at CMU and Yale for not recruiting me out of high school. They didn't have a general studies degree. But I will return the trophy.
But the generals that you wanted to study were like what? Dollar General?
Yeah.
Generals.
Hold it. I don't understand. You got Jimmy Savetic with you, who put on a great Golden Gloves tournament, had some nice winners there. And you don't even know what get the puck out of there is. You think I'm swearing at you. Take your trophy there. Thanks for sharing.
That looks good on my mantelpiece.
It does. It does. Well, I better give.
Whatever happened to no interruptions for what's on your mind?
Spring's in the air is all I can say. A nice day. Everybody's a little excited here.
He's not wearing long pants.
Oh, Chip threw me a
Exactly.
softball. I had to take it, brother.
Well, now what's on my mind is going to be a little different. Another friend of our show is a guest at Sip Sports Bar. He's Big Mike D. Mike Draculich. I can't even say it. Sorry, Mike.
Big Mike D.
Yeah. Well, his dad, Big Mike D.D., he's a fan of our show. And he wanted to know who ate all the fries on the show, so poor Al didn't get to eat any last night. So I invited him on the show. He goes, what, to share some fries? I said, yeah, I hope so. So he sent me some sort of like fiction and fact and some trivia time all in one. So I couldn't resist. I copied it all down, and I'll do a little bit of reading here for you. And what this has to do with it is a local guy, Wally Triplett, wrote some interesting facts. Now, in 1945, Jackie Robinson signed a Brooklyn Dodgers baseball contract and was sent to Montreal, Canada. Joe Tepsick quit Penn State football in mid-season, signed a Brooklyn Dodgers contract. As a substitute, and it says Wally Triplett, became the first varsity Negro football player at Penn State.
Wow.
And then he was also one of the...
Negro?
Yes, that's what it said. And he even put in here, I don't normally talk like that. These are quotes. And he has it in the NFL, Negro finally listed. So these are for Smoking Jim Frazier. I couldn't resist doing this. How about these 3 things affected American baseball, collegiate football, and apple pie? No, he didn't say that. Most people don't know when, where, or why those 3 things made baseball and football history. Now, I had to find out who was the gentleman that wrote this. Now, he's an older gentleman right now, but Wally Triplett III was the first Negro starter, Smoking Jim, for the Penn State varsity football team. He was also the first Negro to earn a varsity letter, and the first Negro, again, Penn Stater, to be drafted by the NFL. That's why I brought this, because of you,
Triplett.
buddy. Yes.
He was first.
Yes.
In the NFL?
Negro Penn Stater.
Oh, Penn State.
yeah.
Okay.
That's
okay.
why I got trivia.
African American,
Yeah.
he means.
Well, I'm reading quotes from what this is in Wikipedia. This is in Funkin' Wagnalls. So, Big Mike, you can check it out.
Hermetically
Now it
sealed.
says, following his first appearance on the field against Michigan State in 1945, Triplett learned the team was scheduled to play against the University of Miami, a segregated school. Miami did not allow the African American athletes to play with white athletes. And it was common for the opposing team to leave their African American players at home. In a team vote, this is for Smokin' Jim, Penn State decided to cancel the game and set a new precedent.
Wow.
So I'm
That's
trying.
huge.
This is a little fiction and fact from Al's Almanac.
All right.
And then after he received his degree in physical education, Triplett was drafted by the Detroit Lions in the 19th round of the 1949 NFL Draft. African Americans were not uncommon on NFL rosters, but Triplett, here's the fact for you, Smokin' Jim, was the first to step into a uniform and onto the field. So he actually got on the field to play. Triplett played 2 seasons with the Lions, and listen to this, set an NFL record with 294 return yards in a single game.
Really?
The record, yeah, listen to this also. This record stood for 44 years. He left after the 1950 season for a year of military service in the Korean War, and he played 1 season for the Chicago Cardinals.
Wow. Now,
So-
since we're on that subject,
That's why I brought it up, because
Who
we'll
was-
revisit right now.
who was the first black football player and what year in Pittsburgh?
You told
Steelers
us this
history?
once. Devin, pull up the tapes on this. You did tell us this before. Oh, we got to pull it up.
I'm drawing a blank, Jim.
No, it wasn't him.
I don't
It
remember.
wasn't Johnny
either.
Blank.
No.
Mid 1930s, Ray Kemp.
Wow.
Ray Kemp.
Okay, here's one for you.
This was BT. I thought we was BPTV. We're BT today, Al Levine, the talking machine.
happened?
Where's Bam Smith? We turned into BT. He got
The Black
another one here.
Entertainment Channel.
I understand. I thought it was a gambling thing.
First,
Who's on first?
the, fir- the first series that the Dodgers were going to play in St. Louis in 1947 when Jackie Robinson joined the league, the Cardinals took a team vote and they were going to strike and not play in the series. Ford Frick, the commissioner of baseball, got wind of it and sent them a memorandum, or call it what you will, saying, go ahead, do it. And you're out of the league, you're suspended, you're gone, your history, don't care what the consequences are of losing the St. Louis Cardinals. And they didn't strike. And I'll tell you who read the letter and who talked the team into playing was Stan Musial.
Wow, did you
Stan
get
the
that
man.
from the movie 42?
Nope, I haven't been to the movie yet, have you?
No.
I've already been asked if I've seen it. I
It
haven't.
doesn't surprise me because Stan Musial
Yeah,
was that kind of a
Stan the
man.
man.
And, you know,
Well,
that's-
did I not say about him and Ken Griffey Sr.'s father?
No.
Did I tell you guys about this?
Same hometown.
yeah, they're both from Denora.
When Musial was in high school, Ken Griffey's father, Ken Griffey Sr.'s father, I
Father,
forget his
yeah.
name, Billy
Senior.
Beaner,
Senior,
Billy
senior.
Griffey or something, was on the team, and the team was the high school team was traveling in a tournament, and I forget what it was. They didn't allow Griffey to stay in a hotel or eat where they were going to eat, and Musial said if he's not, and this was Musial as a teenager, and he says if Griffey's not, then you can forget about me too. And this is at this X amount of degrees of separation again because
We're
this
down
is
to
Ken
two?
Griffey's Jr.'s grandson, Ken Griffey Sr.'s son, the original, not the original Griffey, but the Griffey that played ball was Stan Musial.
And, you know, that's not
That's like 3
surprising that
degrees.
an athlete with
3.
ties to the Pittsburgh area, superstar, would put his, put it all on the line for the good of other people. Another person that did the exact same thing was Roberto Clemente. And Roberto Clemente in 1966, when he won the MVP, and recognized as the best player in baseball, took that as a platform to stick up for the rights for the Hispanic players who were being badly what is it?
There
There was as much racism for the Hispanics as there was for the African Americans, and he stood up for the Latin players, and and he used his platform because he wasn't so concerned about himself. He was worried more about the benefit of other people.
And the Latin players who could have been any color combination, be it dark skin or light skin, the reason why they were getting whatever was because they couldn't speak English like in today, when they're either brought up bilingual, or once they start on a fast track to Major League Sports, they're tutored in English. These guys didn't speak English, consequently they were viewed as stupid, and that's why not the Hispanics per se, but the Latinos were ridiculed, and why Clemente chose to stand up for it, because they were viewed as stupid. Even Clemente got his press for his ball playing was awesome, but his press for not being able to communicate, and when he did speak English, he was misinterpreted and all that jazz. Clemente took big hits here in Pittsburgh.
And he was inspired by Dr. Martin Luther King and in the civil rights movement, and that's what Clemente saw that and made him stand up for that. So that's there's a lot of things that are all interconnected, that they're all kind of like a domino effect, and it all started with Branch Rickey signing Jackie Robinson.
I think maybe we've mentioned it in the past, but I truly believe if there ever could be or should be another universally retired baseball number, it should be Roberto's number 21.
That's one of the things I mentioned on the air. I think every major league team ought to retire that number, and that's just an opinion, because African American players weren't the only people that there was prejudice against.
Sure.
We should recognize it across the board for everybody.
With you.
Very good. Well, we're going to move on a little. We're not even going to revisit anything since we've interrupted everything else. We're just going to go right to Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And I tell you what, I go back. Ooh, boy, do I really go back on some of these fictions and facts from Smoking Jim's Almanac. And we're going to go way back. We're going to dig real deep in the past. We're going all the way back to Sunday. Fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. One of the biggest upsets I've ever seen in sports history. I tell you what, most people don't realize we were at the Golden Gloves Western Pennsylvania Championship Sunday in God's country, Monroeville, at the Doubletree Hotel, and it was all sold out. I tried to get a room, but there was a kid there that fought 141-pounder, and this guy is the closest thing to King Kong at 141 pounds. His name is Armonte Everhart. Just to give you a little history about him, he was the 3-time defending Western Pennsylvania champion. He won it in 2010, 2011, 2012. In 2010, he went toe-to-toe with Sammy Vasquez in an exhibition bout under the tutelage of Roy Jones Jr., watching closely. This guy last year in 2012 won the state Golden Glove championship and was an Olympic hopeful. He was named, he beat out Freddie Latham, Freddie Latham, for state fighter of the year. Most people thought he was going to turn pro, but his goal was to win a national championship. He wanted to scale every mountain there was in the amateur ranks, and he felt like he would be unfulfilled without a national championship. And he fought, you talk about David and Goliath, he fought a junior in high school by the name of Johnny Spell. And I tell you what, I gave Johnny zero chance to beat King Kong. I thought Johnny Spells was one of the best young fighters potentially that we ever seen here in Pittsburgh. I thought he had a chance one day to be the next Sugar Ray Leonard, maybe Sugar Ray Robinson, maybe Pernell Whitaker, maybe even De La Hoya. This guy has so much talent, and I thought maybe they was putting him in against a guy that maybe would take his will along with all of his skills. But Al Levine, the talking machine, was very confident. Johnny Spells Sr. was very confident. And I tell you what, little Johnny went into the ring and handled business. And after the fight, he was so focused. He did not care about the championship belt. He wasn't concerned about the state championship. He was focused on his goal, and his goal all along is to be the national champion. So, Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim Almanac went to Sunday. Greatest upset I've ever seen.
David slew
in amateur
Goliath.
boxing.
Huh?
That's sure enough.
It definitely was. You have to watch our show at Sip Sports Bar. We did talk about that, so I'm not going to go over it again, but it was just amazing to see a young man grow up right in the ring there.
Wow.
So that's what I considered it. So quite an honor to see that. Thanks for letting me be aboard with the boxing, too. I
Hey,
appreciate
man, you're
it.
an excellent co-host. Best I ever had on the
Oh,
boxing.
jeez.
You and China. You're right up there with China.
Oh, man. I'm not as pretty as she is, so don't start all those rumors
You
there.
can see Brazil over there glaring at you.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
She's not going to be on air tonight.
And Brazil told me this morning she likes your hair.
Thank you. We better get on a serious note. Well, not so serious. We'll go to Chip's trivia time.
Oh, thank
Give
you.
me some of that. Come
Give me
on.
some of that trivia. Thanks, Alan. And, you know, I always preface this every week, but my head is like a fountain of useless information. And I dipped into the well this afternoon, and I pulled out some oldies, but some goodies. First thing I'd like to touch on, everybody knows my love and my passion for the Pittsburgh Pirates is,
For all you new people on the
you
show,
know, without question.
he is.
There are 6 teams in Major League Baseball history that have won 10,000 games. Okay? Some of the teams that may have done this, or that have done this, may surprise you. Now, the Giants, the Dodgers, the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Reds, and the Braves. Those are the 6 teams that have won 10,000 baseball games. The very next team that will win 10,000 baseball games are the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Wow.
They are 34 wins shy of 10,000.
They can do it this year.
And if we could focus in on that NY on Big
I'm
Mike's
looking at
jersey
it.
there, the team that follows the Pirates, that will be the 8th team to make 10,000 wins, would be the New York Yankees.
Really?
No way.
Yes.
Even with
Pirates,
Babe Ruth.
the Pirates have them by 100 games. Now, everybody needs to understand, and this leads me into the rest of some of my useless bits of
A little
information.
segue into
the
other
Pittsburgh Pirates have been in existence for 127 years. And they started out the first years of their existence, they were not called the Pittsburgh Pirates, they were called the Pittsburgh Alleghenies. That was from 1882 to 1891. And the Pirates got their name in 1892
We discussed that.
because they pirated away a player from the Philadelphia team, and his name was Louis Bierbauer. So, you know, he helped to create the nickname of the Pittsburgh Pirates. In World Series history, a Pittsburgh Pirate was the first man to ever hit a home run in World Series play.
Really?
His name was Jimmy Sebring. Little known about fact, and and if you look at it, the Pirates and the fact that they're closing in on 10,000 wins, I was looking through the number of the teams that have had the most wins per decade, and there's 4 particular decades where the Pirates stood out from everybody else. The decade, the beginning of the 20th century, 1900 to 1910, the Pirates won 938 games. In the 1920s, when the Yankees were, Murderers Row and Babe Ruth and all that other stuff, the Pirates won 877 games in the 20s. So, this is
Pretty
a
good.
history of winning in this game. Now, I was born in 1960, and I was born 5 weeks to the day before Mazeroski hit the first ever walk-off home run in World Series history. But the Pirates won 848 games in the 60s and 916 games in the 70s. So, my love for the Pirates was from 20 years of consistent winning. So, we're going through a little bit of a down cycle lately. They're starting to work their way back up. And in the first 100 years of the Pirates' existence, how many Pirates won Rookie of the Year award?
Boy,
None. The only Pirate to win the Rookie of the Year was Jason Bay. He did that. The first and only Pirate to win, I believe, the Rookie of the Year award.
Wow.
The last Pirate to hit for the cycle, Jason Kendall did that in 2000.
Wow.
Prior to him, the next Pirate that hit for the cycle was Gary Redus in 1989.
No
Really?
way.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And and I want to give a little bit of props to Pedro Alvarez, and Pedro Alvarez and his struggles at the plate are well documented. And I was at the games this weekend, and I will tell you this: Pedro Alvarez is a major league third baseman. I mean, he can make all the plays, and he did it all. But he broke a record that was set by, first it was set by Don Clendenin, and broken by Don Clendenin, and then reset by Don Clendenin, who was a first baseman that played for the Pirates in the late 60s. And that was the most strikeouts by a Pirate ever. And Don Clendenin's final record for strikeouts in a season were 160. And unfortunately, Pedro eclipsed that with 180 strikeouts last year.
At least he's number one.
And then finally, there's been one Pirate that's hit more than 50 home runs in a season, and I do believe he did it 4 or 5 times. And that was the one year that he, that I believe he led the league in home runs, was Ralph Kiner, who was a famous New York Mets announcer. But during the early 50s, he was over at Forbes Field putting the balls out on the street in Oakland.
Amazing.
So
That's amazing.
those are just some of my useless bits of information, and some
We're
of my,
Pittsburgh proud on
I
that.
Yeah.
have, I
Now,
have
did
2
you-
things to.
Let me just
Let's
say this
revisit
real quick.
Chip's trivia time.
Did you say that the Dodgers has over 10,000 wins?
Yes, they do.
Do
Because
they have they won any fights?
not
recently.
recently, not recently. But you got to take into account the Dodgers were the Brooklyn Dodgers for a lot of years, and the San Francisco Giants were the New York Giants. So they've been around a long time. The Braves played in Boston, they played in Milwaukee, and they played in Atlanta. So
They traveled around.
and the Cubbies, they've been in existence since almost as long as the Pirates have, but I don't think they've ever won a World
Here,
Series.
you missed some trivia, though. I think today was the anniversary of 1869 when was it Cincinnati?
18 what?
1869.
He's doing the math.
I'm telling Chip that's an inside joke there. But
Oh, that's lovely.
With the
Well,
Reds.
Let all our listeners. So that,
this is the year when baseball, the first pro team, the Cincinnati Redlegs, I think they were, and they won 60 games back in 1869. I didn't stutter.
no.
Go
Were they,
ahead.
when did they become the Red Legs versus the Red Stockings? 'Cause at one time,
I think at one time they were one or the other. So
Now, I wanna-
if
I
I'm
wanna-
confused, you can correct
I wanna
me. But I
say-
wanted some trivia there.
I want to say 2 things to Chip's
Okay,
awesome
I'll write
trivia.
the first one down.
One is who is Ralph Kiner's wife, or was Ralph Kiner's
Mrs.
wife?
Kiner.
That's on a technicality. You are correct. You don't know.
I don't know.
Jane Russell, the actress.
Get out of here.
That's correct.
Okay, one.
Okay.
You're full of it tonight.
And secondly is Dennis Rodman is going back to North Korea on August the 1st.
Kim Jong Un.
Yes.
Kim Jong Un.
With,
All right, let's move on.
is he going to wear a dress?
He's wearing earrings though. 'cause
Is he going to wear a wedding
Kim
dress?
Jong Un liked the earrings. And there you got a little world traveling, a little diplomacy, a little bit of everything else. Well, at Sip Sports Bar, we had a nice show last night. We had the Kamikaze Kid come back.
Wow, what a great interview
And
we had with
you know
him.
what? He was just off the charts with. He just opened up and told us some stories. All I had to do is ask about Tony Dorsett.
He was Tony Dorsett's roommate
Roommate.
when they traveled. And oh man, there were some pretty hilarious stories. If you guys get a chance, look us up on YouTube, Pittsburgh Sports Line. It's Sips Sports Line.
Yeah.
Some great stories they told
And
us.
check out Pittsburgh Sports Line. Big Mike Butera. He finally hit that like button. He's in with us now. He found it. And he said we may be up another couple. We were at 217 when I left the house. So you can go to Pittsburgh Sports Line. You'll even see Tracy, the bartender. She had a
Extraordinaire.
story.
Oh yeah,
She had a great story. I'll just give you a little teaser. It's about a guy dropping a remote control and finding our show.
No, in finding Al Levine on his screen.
Yeah, that's the miracle. He heard me. He heard my voice. Where's those free fries? But that's another story. It was great with the Kamikaze Kid.
Yeah.
Big Mike D was on there from Pittsburgh Sports Nation. You got to hear him, Big Mike. You know, you're not as big as Big Mike. We started having some weight issues on the show there. Just so you know, Little Z, he's been eating a little bit at Sip Sports Bar, and now he's got to get down to his boxing weight.
Yeah, he's in training. Little Z's in training. He's going to be fine.
One of the hardest young businessmen, working businessmen that I know.
Yes,
He's a great guy.
And they he had a pirate cap that they sent him straight from North Korea.
Yeah, we're stuck on this North Korea. Let's go to boxing right now. We got a little bit of boxing coming up. I've been holding this sheet up for so long. I know it's on Saturday, the 20th, at 6 p.m. at Royal Place. Get a good meal. You'll hear Andy Sebastian's going to be the MC. Mike Bayens, a friend and a guest of our shows, getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. Two other gentlemen. We saw great boxing, like Smoking Jim was tipping you off. There'll be more boxing. It's the Novus, Cadet, and the Hall of Fame dinner. So you got to come out Saturday night at the Royal Place.
Where is it?
6 o'clock. It's Route
Route
88.
and 51.
You know where Route
About
51 is when
Is
you're
that
going
the
home?
Chinese
About a
restaurant?
half a mile.
It's past the
it's not.
Chinese
No, it's
restaurant.
not.
It's
On the
right
right-hand side as you're
Well,
coming home.
going
from
back.
88.
Going back home like you're going.
Yeah.
It's on the
It'd
left.
be on the
Stop in there. Tell them we sent you.
Weren't you going to be there?
I'm talking tonight.
Oh,
We'll be there then. We'll be there on the 20th at 6 p.m. Yes. You coming out?
I'm going to be in Bridgeville on Saturday, 20th at 6 o'clock at the King's
You're not going to make it then.
restaurant for a meeting. Tri-County Thoroughbred Corral. It's a Mustang club. Any Mustang enthusiasts out there, please look up tctc.org.
Oh, I thought that was something like a cougar, you know?
You know, I don't mind shameless promotions. Do you want to repeat that again? Because you were a fast talker there, my friend.
The Mustang Club, Mustangs being the cars.
Las Vegas.
Devin Shea has one, I have one. Anybody that belongs to the club obviously would have one, otherwise you're not a member, but it's Tri-County Thoroughbred Corral. It's a nice little Mustang club, very nice people. I only associate with nice people.
Thank you.
And that's a fact, I mean that. And we do car cruises, we do car shows, we donate to Toys for Tots, and I forget what the other children's charity is.
Find
We
out
raise
next time
money.
for us,
No, I
okay? Because
can-
I'll promote it for you.
And
Absolutely,
I
that's
will
cool.
be
Thank you.
watching the Pittsburgh Pirates playing the red-hot Atlanta Braves, battling them on Saturday night at PNC Park.
How many games have you gone to on your tickets?
This will be the fourth.
Awesome. You have 20 or how many do you have?
Well, I actually
growing.
I've got 22, and I've got I got vouchers for 2 tickets down in the expensive seats for Stephanie and I. I just have to pick the game.
You know what? Next year, I'm just made a commitment. Next year, I'm going to get a season pass. What you
For you in Brazil?
Yeah, me in Brazil.
Okay.
We're gonna- she can sit on my lap, but
Again,
That's one ticket.
I'll sneak her in. But you can get a 20 game. Is that the smallest package you can get?
Well, it's not the
10
smallest package.
games.
You can buy a 10-game package.
You in Brazil will like that.
You know, they make different packages available. I went for the Saturday package because those are the Saturdays works out best with my schedule, my wife's schedule. We get to go. So there's 13 home Saturday games, and then they give you tickets to the opener, which is one of the premium games.
As long as I
and
can get the Heritage game, you know, when they do the All Negro League celebration.
there you go.
I want to see that, all that marching.
You can
and
buy
the
any kind of
bands
package
and
you
all
want.
that.
You know,
Throwback.
You know what? You can even just buy one ticket.
Right, the nice thing
You're
about
gonna
your
have to
season tickets with the Pirates is that if you're not able to make a game, you can trade your tickets in for tickets to another game if you don't use them.
Really?
So it's not like if you miss the game, you eat the tickets and you know. So they're real good about that.
My boy that goes to all the Pirate games, he's the one that got the cardboard 2 together. He told me you couldn't do that. he
Well,
told me
look
I had
who-
to sell him the tickets.
Sure. He might have been working you a little bit.
He gave me some bad advice.
I'll tell you what, I got.
Wait till I see him at the next
I got
Penguin
some
game.
great
He
tickets.
goes to all of them.
I got some great tickets right behind home plate up in section 316.
I seen it.
You can see the whole field, and I'll tell you what, it's really impressive. Like watching Andrew McCutcheon go from first place to home, I'm going to tell you what, that young man
Is he
can
that
run.
fast?
Yes, he is. And I'll tell you who else is just as fast, maybe a little faster. Starling Marte. Now that we're talking about the Pirates,
How'd you
Starling
know?
Marte
You cheated. You looked at my
is
list.
in the big leagues to stay. This young man is batting .370. He runs like a gazelle.
I think you like the Latinos better than
I'm
the
going to tell you something, man. You
He's
know,
leading the league in hits, folks. He has 22. And I
The,
said 22.
PNC Park is a uniquely shaped baseball park because they
They go-
have.
they go chip
there
seats.
you go. But you know the thing about
Yeah.
PNC Park is that you need to have two center fielders playing in the outfield because they've got the biggest left field area of any ballpark in baseball, and then you got center field. So you've got McCutcheon in center,
Right.
and you've got Marte
Marte.
in left, and nothing hits the ground in between them because those two, you just watching them chase balls around. When you're sitting up there and watching them run across that field, it's very, very impressive. But
Smoking Jim, you got to get out of that all-you-can-eat section so you can
I'm
watch
telling
some
you,
of that.
I got to go
Brazil
to
and you got to move out a little bit.
I got to go to row 21 where Chip
But you know,
sits.
I
Whoa.
mean, you know, to speak to something else, you know, there was a lot of hubbub this past
big
winter
road.
when the Pirates decided to trade Joel Hanrahan, and everybody said, "Oh, we didn't get anything back for him." Well, the Melanson, who's one of the setup man for Jason
Right.
Grilli, he's been in the closer role before, and so far this year, Pirates closers are 6 for 6 in save opportunities, and that's begging me to say, Joel who?
Wow. we're not gonna revisit when your friend called in on the show. But last year was last year.
Last year was last year, and you know what?
And we're done with that.
The Pirates had to. The Pirates had to trade him to be able to move forward.
We got some inside stuff going on. Chip corrected me a couple times last night.
Because everybody seems to want to relive the past. Guess what? We can't change the past. I live in the present. Okay?
Right.
Pirates are playing their Cardinals this evening, and they're going to drop that number from 34 down to 33.
Where's
tonight.
our fans? Chief, let us know what the score is. You got my number? Text me or something. Anybody else?
How about a little hockey, guys?
How about a little
Oh,
hockey?
man, did you see this too? Quit reading my...
That was a segue.
That was
A segue.
Segue.
Sid is back on the ice. He's not practicing with the team yet, but he was in
Right.
full uniform. He's got a face mask on to protect his jaw, but he's out skating before the team. He was out skating. Neil's out skating, and
Martin was out there too.
Martin's out there too. Now Martin's still a couple of weeks away because he had a broken hand, and you know he still really can't hold the stick. You know, James Neal, they don't know when he's going to be ready, but he's out there on the ice and he's practicing, which kind of leads me to believe that he's on the road to get being ready again. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to work Shid back into shape again because of the jaw problem. He lost some weight because he couldn't eat solid food. And I did see an interview with him last week, and I saw the bottom part of
I
his
saw
jaw,
it too.
and all the teeth that were gone. But you know, hey, $8.7 million buys good dentures.
No, you know what they do, Chip? I'll give you a little dental insight here.
Okay.
They get implants, so that way they just screw the teeth in and out. So
Oh,
they can
really?
Screw them into their jaws, and
Yeah.
Are you serious?
yeah, I try not to make this stuff up.
No, that's a fact. My wife
Thanks,
is
Big Mike.
is a part of a dental association, and that's a fact. And Sid, if you're listening, give us a call at 412-831-3304.
You married a rich woman.
And I can hook you up with a good dental association.
It was on a infomercial. Go ahead, Big Mike. Did you have a point to make?
I forget.
But you know what? Penguins got two real big games coming up. Tomorrow night they play in Montreal Canadiens here, and unfortunately because of the events of yesterday, there's going to be extra security surrounding the game. So, you know, people that want to go down to the game get there early, and then you know, Friday night's going to even be a bigger game because we're playing in Boston. You know, and you know, last night they canceled the Bruins games. The Bruins are playing the Sabres tomorrow night. They canceled the Celtics game tonight. And you know, the whole you know, it's just such a mess. And I don't know what somebody was trying to prove by doing some kind of a senseless act of violence at such, you know, the Boston Marathon is one of the most famous marathons, and it represents so many different things to so many people, and why somebody would pick that as a place to make a statement. I'd like to know what kind of.
They just want to change our life is what they want to do. If they're affecting us where you do something different, if you're not vigilant to look for them, and watch things that are out of place, that's what they want to do. They want to make sure your life isn't how it was.
Well, the sad thing, an 8-year-old boy who was standing down near the finish line waiting to watch his dad finish the race and cross the finish line, lost his life. And then how that can, if you explain to me how that can prove somebody's point or make some kind of a statement for somebody else, I'll never understand that.
Did something happen to his dad as well?
I did not hear that he did. I know that that his other members of his family were gravely injured, and I heard there was a lot of people that lost limbs and
there were so many graphic things there with legs blown off, arms. I can't believe they were showing a lot of that.
And what did I hear that these bombs were in pressure cookers? Is what they put them in a backpack, like
BBs, nails. What they found is BBs, nails, and nylon, which in fact we call it the backpack thing. And yeah, they call them pressure cookers. And I was trying to figure out if they actually mean the cooking pressure cooker, or if that's a term for some sort of
I don't
device.
know.
But yeah, that's.
I don't know.
Well, at any rate,
a lot of negative stuff. How about something positive?
Well, I did want to bring up something about the Penguins. I can't remember if it was Friday night's game or Sunday night's game, but they had a visual for, it seemed like about 10 seconds of Crosby sitting in the press box, and I never saw. Athletes are focused, visually, that jazz. But he just sat there, and he just he didn't know the camera was on him, but he was just like eyeing for an extended period of time.
That young man lives and breathes in every beat that his heart produces to be on the ice playing hockey. That is what his entire world is. And I'm telling you, the hardest thing in the world for Sid Crosby to do is watch somebody else
he
play.
had his share of that in the past couple of years. This just in, Cordell Stewart's getting a divorce. You guys know about that?
Yeah,
you missed
and they
it.
don't have any kids.
You missed that, Big Mike. That's old news.
What was his name?
Those were all false rumors there.
I just got that.
On a more serious note, why don't we talk some unicycles? See, Monday night, we got Dave Crack coming out from Butler Wobble, who's hosting it. You forgot our man Dave Crack. He'll be at Sip Sports Bar, Big Mike. You can meet him. They're going to have the unicycles there. Maybe we'll get Dr. Trina Hess to come out and give a little consultation on some humor. You guys need some help with this humor here. Everything can't be funny on this show. I don't know. It seems like a little sarcastic there. It seems like it's somebody's expense. And other things like that. What else do you have, Big Mike? You missed a week with us.
Yeah, well, I did want to read this because this is pretty cool. About that and read it. And I am going to have to read it because I can't remember it all. But this pertains to the city of Pittsburgh, Jackie Robinson, and this guy right here. Now, the movie 42 came out, and it was actually one of the producers is Thomas Tull, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Thomas?
Tull, Tull, Tull.
Oh,
He's
Tull Jones.
Thomas Tull. He's a part of Legendary Productions or Legendary Pictures, a Hollywood production company. He's a part owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow.
Yeah. Secondly,
Minority. That's what
it doesn't
Smoking
say
Jim.
that. Secondly,
The Rooney's on
Pittsburgh
most of it.
plays a
Come on.
critical role in the movie because, do you know, one of the characters actually is not a character. It's a biopic, right? Wendell Smith. Does that name ring a bell to you?
Yeah.
Wendell Smith and Bill Nunn. Bill Nunn and Wendell Smith are prominent past people of the Pittsburgh Courier. The Pittsburgh Courier at one time had hundreds of thousands of circulation throughout all the United States, and Wendell Smith and Bill Nunn had a part in helping to nurture Jackie Robinson through the good times and the bad times. As a matter of fact, I think it was Smith or Nunn, one of the two, that had to talk Jackie out of bailing at one time because of all the nonsense, all the stuff that he was taking on. But for those who don't know, this guy to my right is a Pittsburgh Courier writer and
Editor.
Well,
Golden Quill. Golden Quill award-winning writer.
Our man right here.
But, to speak to your point and touching base on the Jackie Robinson thing, yesterday, and I can't remember which game this was, but there's a young man who was the bat boy for the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947, and he was the only year that he did this, was the bat boy for the Brooklyn Dodgers, and he became friends with Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson would play catch with him and so forth and so on. And he learned so much from Jackie Robinson because he said, the movie was a very great depiction of what actually Jackie Robinson went through, all the racism, the taunting, and the verbal abuse that he would put up with. And he never, ever responded to any of it. He just, he just kept doing his thing because he was told that, if you react to it, then, then you're going to ruin it for everybody else that follows you. So Jackie Robinson stoically took it, and this young man learned so much from him. And here now that he's in his mid 80s, he threw out the first pitch at one of the ball games, and I can't remember which one. But that's amazing that the young man was 19 years old, and Jackie Robinson touched him in such a way. But he took the time to befriend this young man, and it was something that changed his life.
There you go. See, with the power of sports and some positivity here. And that's what we try to bring to you, folks. Some different opinions. We don't always get along here. We're opinionated. Sometimes we interrupt each other a couple times. But,
It's all in good fun.
yeah,
Good
we
humor.
try to present something that's a little bit lively. And make sure you friend us, like us, Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook. Big Mike could do it. Look what happened.
Do you
Anybody
know
else
why?
can.
I'll tell you why. I went to YouTube in
Did
anticipation
you
of
get the-
watching us, that is, and I saw a video on how to do
A tutorial.
Facebook. Yeah.
You know what? There is hope. Nice.
You ready, Mike?
Chip could have shown you that before. Here, and then I would spell it out for you.
Push the button.
Nah.
Like-
For like. That's all you got to do.
You know what? There has to be so many likes because I kept pushing the button.
No, we lost
No,
likes.
you like it and unlike. So you press it once.
Yeah.
You press it once, and then that's it. You leave it alone.
You got clicky.
Once you like it, you like it. You can't like it
But I-
more.
you know,
And this is a Facebook tutorial, folks. We're going a little off sports
This
subject.
isn't like stuffing the ballot box. You know what I mean?
This is like,
This isn't like a hanging Chad in Florida.
yeah. When you're trying to vote early and vote often,
Yeah.
it takes one, puts one in, takes it off.
So now I don't know if I'm on or off.
You're
Well,
on
you-
now.
well,
I think.
unlike is means you're off. So you got to click.
I'll leave it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
But those
touch it
people, those
anymore.
newbies out there, you can still push the button just once.
And Big Mike said he got a couple fans that are going to like us by the end of this show. So we'll be hopeful to see
They're
maybe
watching
2
live.
nights.
They're
Are
watching
they?
this live.
Who are they?
Norma Jean and Bob, the Cadillacers.
And where are they at?
They're in North Hills. I think it's the Hampton area.
And they're watching us on
Live.
Verizon
Yes.
32.
Yes.
I gotta let them know where there's a good Cadillac club down in Homewood.
Wait.
They do cruises
This is
too.
if I,
All right, tell us one more
How
funny
about the
story.
Cadillac Ranch out here in Robinson?
The Mustangs.
I'll save this for off the camera, but Bob, you know
Great
what I'm talking about, and I'll tell him. Okay.
Well, we got to wrap this up, folks. We're getting close.
Okay.
At the last minute, you got something else, Big Mike? Make it
For
quick.
the closer, this is Ray Kroc. The back in '74, he was the new owner. Ray Kroc, being the
McDonald's.
McDonald's guy, had bought the Padres, and the opening game, his team was losing 9-2, and he actually went into the wherever the press box, got the public address system in the 8th inning, and tells the people in the stands, "I suffer with you. I've never seen such a stupid baseball playing game in my life." While he was speaking, a streaker runs across the field.
That's awesome.
Thanks for sharing. Smoking Jim, you got any last words?
Well, I tell you what, that puts a spin on Ray Kroc's milkshake with that streaker going through there. But
Next subject.
but hey,
Good humor.
come on out, see
Saturday
me and
night.
Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Golden Gloves boxing. Some awesome young people will be there in the Hall of Fame.
Great fighters, definitely. Chip, anything else left
Hey
in you?
man, I'm just gonna enjoy the sports scene here in Pittsburgh. Let's go Pens. Let's go Bucks.
Well, of course. Give me a little more Kool-Aid. I'm on the bandwagon in the back seat. But thanks for watching our show. Dave Cable is great with putting out our Pittsburgh sports line at Sips Sports Bar with all the
Thanks,
graphics. We thank BPTV, especially Dave putting it out.
Devin Shea.
Devin
Aaron
Shea
Ward.
is running 3 cameras tonight, folks,
telling
by
you
remote
what.
control. Aaron Ward was great at Sips Sports Bar. We got to say goodnight. Thanks for watching the show. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.